Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm going to be doing one of my famous walk and talks today, as we are going to be talking about happiness. Why most people are not happy, how to be happy, basically, and why most people are, unhappy in paradise. So, first, I want to reflect that, I'm pretty privileged to live here in America, to be in the first world, basically, and to have access to so many awesome things, awesome tools such as the internet, such as such as opportunity, things for like access to learning, information, all that kind of stuff. Just to name like the bare minimum on that one. There is a lot of stuff to be grateful for in being in any part of the world, to be alive, all that kind of stuff. Yet a lot of people have really miserable lives. And they think that it's because circumstances put it that way. That like, oh, if only I was in the 1%, if only this thing was working better, if only I didn't have to work so hard at my job, if only like my parents weren't pushing me into this major, if only this thing, if only that thing. A lot of people live their day-to-day lives unable to really appreciate a lot of the wonderful things that there are in any part of the world and in any part of life. Okay? Now, if you go back thousands of years to some of the best philosophical work of all time, you'll find that a lot of it has been done by people who lived in times where living to be 20 was rare, uncommon, difficult to do, all that kind of stuff. Living to be 30, oh man, now you're an old person, and stuff like that, because disease was rampant, all these kind of things that we've worked and cured these days. They lacked all this technology. Yet a lot of people figured out how to be happy in those situations. There are plenty of happy people in the third world. There are plenty of happy people in the first world. But regardless, it seems like everybody, if you have such access to resources, like it is to have in the first world, and if there is like a quote unquote second world for some places that are kind of in between that first and third world gap, then it's to say there's a lot to be thankful for and there's a lot to be happy about. But so many people are not happy, and that's not their fault. It's not that it's not lack of trying. It's not just circumstance either. Okay, it's not just a luck that people are happy, because people often think that happiness is just luck based. Oh, if everything goes right, then I'll be happy, and if everything doesn't go right, then I won't be happy. But really, that's just perfectionism, and perfectionism is this basically repetitive need to have everything go this exact way and to be perfect, to pan out perfectly. And so basically, it's like people putting all their money on 33 black on a roulette wheel. It's a very unlikely outcome, so they're mostly just throwing their money away. It's very unlikely that it's going to come up 33 black, 10 times in a row, okay? The statistical likelihood of that is next to none. And so I wanted to give you guys a little bit on just basics about happiness, because I have a lot of advanced material, more so on we can change our perfectionism with this, we can change our work with this, that kind of stuff. But I just want to give you a basic one on happiness, because happiness is such an important thing in this world and this life, and I don't think it's given enough credit for its importance. So in school, we don't get taught how to be happy, okay? There's no class in happiness. There 100% should be, and I one day want to make sure that that can be the case, that we can have, dear, that we can have happiness be taught to every child, every person, because that would really change a lot of things in our world. But happiness is not a class in school. Happiness is just supposed to be taught at home. But it's often said to be that way, and a bunch of parents are not happy, so they might be more competent for teaching math classes at home than teaching happiness at home, considering the background of so many parents. But once again, it's nobody's fault on this one, okay? This is just kind of how things shook out, that happiness is a little bit difficult. It's not always easy for everybody, like it really could be, and maybe how it should be. But yeah, so let's really talk about happiness then. What is it? How do you get it? If it's not just luck, if it's not just that you get the best cards dealt to you all the time, everything is just luck based, and it's not a matter of how much money or technology or anything you have, then what does it really come down to? And I would say the biggest part of it, I mean, I have materials on it's your beliefs, it's your, this, it's your that, it's your expectations. But I would say mostly it comes down to your mindset overall. Do you have a positive mindset or a negative mindset? And I would say that's the biggest component. In life, it's not much what happens to you that matters, it's mostly what you think about it. If you think that your life is great and that you're grateful for all these things you have in your life, all these kind of things around you. And this is not always easy to do. A lot of it is against basically the nature of humanity. But if you can see all the good things in your life and appreciate them, show gratitude, and you can look to the future and say, you know what, the future is going to be bright. I don't know exactly how I'm going to get there. I don't have a perfect plan or everything, but I don't need one because everything is going to work out. If you can have that belief and certainty in the long run that everything's going to work out for you, then that just means you can live more in the present moment. And the present moment is where happiness is, where you can just take a walk in the woods, when you can just go and sit and play games, when you can go to work and just work, when you can do things in the present moment. You encounter a rare type of bliss that you don't really get in any other moment. Because most of the day I find that people are thinking about either the past or the future, okay? They're thinking, oh man, I really screwed up in the past. This thing went wrong in the past. Or they're thinking, oh, I have to make sure this thing goes right in the future. But when you accept that your past self did the best they could, they were a good person, but you don't have a time machine, you can't change the past. So, unless you do, I mean, if you have a time machine, just let me know and talk to me about the mechanics of that one, because negative mass neutrinos, I say, is a reasonable method of time travel there. I would argue for other kind of wormhole-based technology. There are other great theories. The Casimir effect, for example, has potential in time travel. Whatever the case, I don't mean to nerd out too much of you on the with the physics there, but I love physics too. Anywho, let's get back to our topic here, happiness. So, how do we be happy? It is about changing just how you can perceive your reality, okay? And that really just comes down to first understanding the subconscious mind. Do we all have this mind, this segment of our mind, that is a huge, extremely powerful segment? Think of it like a giant river, and we are just the person floating in the river. Now, do you want this river to flow onto your success or flow you onto failure? Well, we always want it to be success. But the way you program your subconscious mind is a little bit complicated. And the reason for this is just because we were never taught how to do this in school, okay? They taught us how to use, our calculator. They taught us how to do basic math. They taught us basically the idea of what science is. They taught us how to read this book and how to know these facts about history. But they did not teach us how to be happy. And being happy is probably more important than almost all those other things. Now, I mean, if you want to know everything about the War of 1812 or something, then fantastic for you. If you love history, if you love physics, if you love science, if you love anything, okay, then that is fantastic for you, because passion, purpose, really gives us a lot of energy and happiness in our lives, okay? But most of all, it's your subconscious mind. If you can change your subconscious mind to being positive, which is easier to do than you might think. As I've said, it may be complicated at first, but it's actually a lot easier than you'd think. What you need to do is expose yourself to positive stimuli that are going to program the mind. We're naturally made fearful over and over again through things like the school system by having this repetition of, if you don't, then this bad thing will happen. Okay, you'll never get into a good college and this and that. People get this kind of repetition, or from their parents, oh, you need to work harder, oh, you're not doing the dishes right, oh, this and this and this. And the mind just gets stuck down in fear. And when you have fear, that drives you away from positivity, from happiness. It gives you this sense that you'll never know the future, that your past self is screwed up and irredeemable, and people just live miserable, miserable lives. So if you can accept that fear is your enemy here, okay? Now, on the path, you may not want to actually have an enemy. We'll talk about that one later. But if you can accept that fear is a problem, that it is not good for you to start with, okay? Basically, I'm talking about this kind of fear about the future, this notion that everything's not going to work out. If you can accept that that's a bad thing, and you can accept that you want to change your life, and you begin to do things like affirmations, I would say start with something like, every day in every way I am getting better and better. Some famous history behind that one and how useful it can be. But if you can start doing that on a day-to-day basis, just do it once, okay? Just say, every day in every way, I am getting better and better. If you can do that, and you can use your emotion in it, and you can feel good while you do it, you can begin to program your subconscious mind to be more positive. Now, if you want more advice on how to do this kind of stuff, check out more of my videos on this kind of material as well. You can read books such as Think and Grow Rich that really talk about this, the reasons why the subconscious mind works the way it does and how to program it. But that's how to be happy in my book. And yeah, I'd say it's just steering away from fear and making your life more and more about love in whatever areas those are. So yeah, that's how I would say that's what I'd say the keys are to happiness. So let me know what you guys think about this one, and I will make more videos on this kind of stuff with you guys in the future. But right now, I'm just going to appreciate this day, how beautiful it is, and how nice it is to be here with all the opportunities and stuff that I have in my life. That is just wonderful. So thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you guys next time with the next video. So stay tuned, and I'll see you then.